Welcome to a tale of ambition, triumph, and the inevitable twist of fate in the world of hip-hop.
My motherfucking game on and now her mind's X-rated. You know what I'm talking about?
In today's video, we're looking at the saga of G-Unit Records. This label once stood at the pinnacle of the music industry. However, it later faced an explosive journey marked by success, strife, and an unexpected decline. So, what exactly happened to cause this? Well, let's take things back a little. The label was founded in the early 2000s by none other than Curtis Jackson, who you might know better as 50 Cent. G-Unit Records emerged as more than just a record label. It was a cultural phenomenon. 50 Cent's own meteoric rise to fame came about with hits like In the Club and 21 Questions. With this success, the G-Unit transformed from a label to a statement. The movement echoed through the streets and the charts alike. 50 Cent, along with the sharp-witted Lloyd Banks and charismatic Tony Yayo, created a new sound. It was raw, unapologetic, and utterly captivating. Their joint debut record, Beg for Mercy, wasn't your normal collection of tracks. It was an example of their gritty and unfiltered view of life on the streets. It also showed the members' resilience, and the public loved it too. With hits like Stunt 101 and Poppin' Them Things, G-Unit didn't just climb the charts, they owned them. The album sold over 4 million copies in the US alone, establishing the G-Unit brand in hip-hop history. At the helm was 50 Cent, the fearless leader whose survival story captivated millions. But G-Unit wasn't a one-man show. It was a collection of talents, each bringing their unique flavor to the table. Lloyd Banks, known for his sharp wit and smooth flow, emerged as the punchline king. Young Buck brought the southern swagger, infusing the group with a distinct energy. Tony Yayo, with his unfiltered and raw delivery, added to the group's authenticity. Then there were those beyond the G-Unit frontmen. It became a home for artists who shared 50 Cent's vision and hunger. The label quickly expanded, signing names like Young Buck and hip-hop veterans like M.O.P. and Mobb Deep. Even The Game, hailing from Compton, joined the label, adding a new West Coast dimension to this primarily East Coast squad. Each edition seemed like a new chapter in G-Unit's future legacy. They brought unique styles and experiences, improving the label's diversity. Mobb Deep's Prodigy and Havoc, with their hard-hitting narratives of life in Queensbridge, meshed seamlessly with G-Unit's ethos. Chart-topping records and platinum plaques added to their street cred and market dominance. Lloyd Banks' The Hunger for More, Young Buck Straight Outta Cashville, and Tony Yayo's Thoughts of a Predicated Felon made significant waves. They were extensions of the G-Unit brand, solidifying the label's dominance in the hip-hop scene. Many people saw Mace's return to rap under the G-Unit banner as a major comeback, adding a different flavor to the label's growing roster. So it came as a huge surprise when the label collapsed. Every empire has its peak, and for G-Unit Records, the descent was as dramatic as their rise. In the unforgiving world of music, success often comes hand in hand with controversy and conflict. Behind the scenes, tension simmered, egos clashed, and the very bond that held G-Unit together began to fracture. The unity that once defined them started to unravel, giving way to public fallouts and disputes. It wasn't just about their music anymore, it was personal, and this affected everything. The layers of triumph, struggle, and inevitable shifts tested the very fabric of this iconic label. 50 Cent, the architect of G-Unit's success, faced widespread criticism, not just from the outside, but from within his own ranks. Artists like Spider Loc had once brimmed with potential under the G-Unit banner. However, he expressed frustration with their careers not taking off as expected. Despite the initial buzz, his G-Unit journey never quite hit the heights it could have done. And then there's O.T. Genesis. After leaving G-Unit, he found major success with hits like Coco. It seemed like the freedom from the label's wings allowed some artists to find their own path to stardom. Similarly, the West Coast powerhouse, The Game, also complicated this narrative. His time with G-Unit was marked by both success and tension. He claimed that while the group enjoyed collective fame, it was 50 Cent who gained the majority of the financial benefits. Other former members of the label agreed, pointing to a deeper issue within G-Unit, the balance of power and profit. And 50 Cent's view? He claimed that these artists often placed the blame squarely on him. He claims they completely overlooked the complexities of the music industry and personal accountability. The music industry, ever evolving and fickle, was also shifting beneath their feet. It refused to stand still. The digital era was dawning. It would change how people consume music and how labels marketed it forever. Social media, streaming services, and digital downloads were becoming the new norm. G-Unit was rooted in the traditional ways of music production and promotion. So it's no surprise they were stuck at a crossroads, struggling to adapt to this new digital era. G-Unit, who were once the hottest thing on the street, found themselves struggling with a rapidly transforming landscape, posing new challenges to their reign. As the internal tension simmered and the industry evolved, G-Unit's grip on the hip-hop throne loosened. They had previously commanded the airwaves and stressed with their dignity and raw energy. But now, they were struggling with the reality of change, both within and outside their control. Soon enough, the label was no more. But that's not the end of the story. As the sun set on G-Unit's era of dominance, its members went on their individual journeys. Each of them carved their own path in the constantly changing landscape of hip-hop. But it wasn't easy. Lloyd Banks faced a unique challenge. In an age where social media began to redefine how artists connected with fans, Banks was reluctant to change. He was initially opposed to platforms like Instagram and Twitter. However, this was more than simply a personal preference. He was influenced by legends like Tupac and Biggie, who never had the chance to embrace this digital world. But this proved to be a huge mistake. Refusing to engage with social media essentially cost Banks his career. He was simply unable to reach a wider audience, so it came as no surprise when his music failed to make any sort of impact, leading him to disappear from the spotlight. Tony Yayo was often seen as the loyal backbone of G-Unit. Unlike the other members, though, he ventured into his own creative endeavors. While his journey lacked the commercial heights of his G-Unit days, many people still respected Yayo. They never questioned his loyalty or his authenticity. He may have disappeared from the spotlight, but his music and business ventures after G-Unit showed an artist committed to his craft and identity. It didn't matter what mainstream trends said. Young Buck's career of G-Unit was a roller coaster of highs and lows. His initial solo success was met with legal and financial challenges. However, despite all this, his determination shone through. He continued to release music, keeping the raw energy and storytelling that had first propelled him to fame. Despite the obstacles and lack of mainstream popularity, Buck's dedication to his art remained unshaken. Each artist's path after G-Unit was unique, yet it was also part of the legacy that had built together. Banks' cautious embrace of the digital age, Yayo's unwavering authenticity, and Buck's perseverance in the face of adversity, these stories were not just about music. They were adaptation, loyalty, and resilience in an industry that is as unforgiving as it is rewarding. But what does the driving force behind the label 50 Cent think? Gone are the days of him being the relentless leader of the label. Recently, he has expressed a clear stance against reuniting the group or working with them again. The man who once carried G-Unit on his shoulders now speaks about the exhaustion of carrying the group. For him, this was more than physical tiredness. He's spoken about the emotional and creative toll that comes from managing such a dynamic ensemble. Of course, he's a man of many talents and ambitions. His journey didn't stall with G-Unit's slowdown. Instead, he pivoted. He channeled his energy into a diverse range of business venture, from executive producing the hit TV series Power to exploring the world of spirits with his brand, Sire Spirits. 50 Cent has reinvented himself as a business tycoon. He's gone beyond the entertainment world. Unlike the other label members, his actions reflect a keen understanding of branding, marketing, and the power of diversification. In an industry where relevance is fleeting, he has managed to stay within the limelight, and not just as an artist. His journey from the streets of Queens to the boardrooms of multimedia business is a clear contrast to the others on the label. As for G-Unit Records as a whole, well, it now occupies a different space. The label's activity has quieted down, mirroring the changing interest and focus of its leader. Sure, it's still a significant chapter in hip-hop history, but its current status is a far cry from its heyday. Now it serves more as a legacy than an active player in the industry. As we reach the end of our exploration on the G-Unit Records saga, it's clear that this story goes beyond hip-hop history. It's a story of ambition, innovation, and the inevitable ebbs and flows of fame and fortune. We've seen the meteoric rise of G-Unit, a group that redefined the sounds and culture of early 2000s hip-hop. Led by the indomitable 50 Cent, G-Unit captured the imagination of a generation with its street anthems and raw storytelling. But the label's initial success wasn't just in its sales figures. It was in how fans worldwide could relate to the music, leaving a clear mark on the music industry. However, the path to greatness is often plagued by challenges. The internal group tensions, coupled with the rapidly changing music industry, began to strain the once unbreakable bonds of G-Unit. This led to the label's inevitable collapse and the disappearance of all but one of its members from the spotlight. But even though you might not see them anymore, the artists who emerged from its ranks have left a lasting impact. Not just in their music, but also in the way they navigated fame, creativity, and business. The legacy of G-Unit lives on in the evolution of hip-hop, in its members' careers, and in the memories of fans who witnessed such a key moment in music history.